I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thornton, and I'm excited to. I know the Astros are playing, but we have a very special guest. We're down in Houston, Texas. But before I bring up the biggest boss, I want to say thank you to the network for broadcasting us, showcasing us, and thank you, Dr. Kelly, for putting this into 200 different countries. And I want to thank this young lady that's going to come up. Now, for those of you who do not know about the life-changing economic empowerment that happened this past weekend in Houston, Texas, the I Am the Biggest Boss Conference, not only did it happen, it exceeded expectations. And I have the CEO today that's going to just recap what happened, because I don't think she even knows what chains were broken this weekend. So y'all give it up for Miss Tiffany McIntosh.
Hey, can you hear me?
Team Mac, what's going on?
Man, you see, I'm still in the bed. I couldn't even get up yesterday. Like, I think it all rushed in and hit me on yesterday, guys, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this weekend.
Oh, man. I mean, to do what you did and to be any other place but the bed would not be fitting. You left it all on the floor this weekend. So let's talk about it. I mean, you don't know what you did. Did you know?
I don't. I mean, I got so many inboxes from all over the globe. And it's probably going to take me a couple of weeks, because it seems like every time I do an event, it gets bigger and bigger. Every time God gives me the vision, he get all the glory for that. And like I told them, this has been a long time coming. He showed me this at my lowest point in 2007.
Oh, wow.
And it was just me and him, and he showed me that vision, and for it to actually come to life, to see, it's kind of like a mother awaiting the birth of her child, and you want to see your baby for the first time. So when I tell you, it was like birthing a baby, even the birthing pains, that came along with it. It was crazy, but at the same time, it was necessary. I did a live from the bed yesterday and entitled it was necessary. So all of the good, all of the bad that took place beforehand, during, when I say the enemy was pulling out all the stops, trying to stop everything, that's how I knew that the breakthrough was going to be life-changing. That's how I knew the breakthrough was going to be even bigger. And even before Sheila Jackson Lee said, nothing like this has ever been done in Houston, I already knew, because God ordained it, that it was going to be insane.
So let's talk, before we get into all of the goodness of the conference, because most people, I want to let people know a little bit about your education, your motivation, your occupation before that, and some of the situations that you went through, because this ain't an easy thing. People think to throw an event, especially for your own people, everybody's going to support you. Did everybody support you?
not only did everybody not support me, not everybody that was supposed to be coming through with sponsorships and all kinds of stuff, it didn't happen. I mean, I told people when I checked out of the hotel, I still had a $25,000 balance. So no, it wasn't cute. No, it wasn't pretty. And my husband and I had already put up 6 figures of our own money to bring this baby to life before the baby even got a diaper or a bottle. We put up 6 figures of our own money, and sometimes God, I just kept hearing I'm like, Lord, you sure you want me to do this? I had plans for that money for investments. I'm like, you sure? He said, always remember, obedience is better than sacrifice. He said, first you'll pay for more than what you do, and then you'll be paid for more than what you do. So when I tell you it was worth it, when I tell you it was worth it, and the hotel was like, you know what, they've never seen anything like that ever.
Yeah.
So
and even when you tell people that, so coming up, so let's go back to 2007, right? Because many people think, oh, okay, well, Tiffany, she's a celebrity. She grew up with, look, I'm sitting in the audience. That's people. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. Tiffany, she grew up rich and, she had everything. So she can do something like this. And there's always going to be, no matter what you do, right? I was eating steak and shrimp at the dinner, and people were upset that there wasn't lobster, right? There's always going to be something like that.
A hater will say you walked on water because you can't swim. So I mean, you can't even give people stuff for free. You can't, and I can't even make this stuff up. It was some people that the Lord was just like, you know what, let them come to get the knowledge, to get the information so the chains can be broken. And the only thing they did pay for was their dinner. They didn't pay, ET 60 grand by himself, and that's just and plus expenses. That's just to get him in the room.
Yeah.
So I mean, people
that's before you can put them on a flyer.
Absolutely.
People don't know this too. We're gonna talk back. Like, before a lot of these people, you have to have an agreement and cash in their bank account, right? Before you can
transfer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another thing. Tiffany did not grow up with a silver spoon. Tiffany did not grow up with money. Tiffany grew up in the worst probably projects you could ever have, raised by a single mom, and been through a lot of things in her life. I have a 25-year-old son from a rape. I went to prison in 2007 for something that I didn't do. But I told God then, I would never be poor and black again. I would never be those two things again. I didn't know the system. I didn't know the system was broken. I didn't know that the system, was not designed for people that look like you and I. I didn't know anything like that because I had never had to experience that. I've heard it happen to people. I've even read people's stories and books that it happened to, but I didn't know that it was so close to me in my own backyard. The same thing happened to my brother. He was on his way to the NFL, and somebody said he robbed him for his public record, a cordless house phone, and did 7 years in prison. Not a money, not a cell phone, a cordless house phone. So when you're from somewhere that they're not in agreement, where when you don't look like them, and you don't have the money, and you don't know the law, and you don't know the system, and that's why I tell people, don't be mad when people call you ignorant. Ignorant only means that you don't know something. I was ignorant to the fact that the system was not set up for in my favor. I was ignorant to the fact that it don't matter if you guilty or innocent. If you black and you ain't got no money and you go in there, whatever they say you did, that's what you did. You take you take a deal and you going about your business. So in 2007, I was incarcerated for something I didn't do. I was an inmate for the state of Ohio because that's where I'm from. I'm from the LBJ city. I'm from where LeBron James is from. I'm just a kid from Akron trying to make an imprint on the world. And the event that happened this weekend, this was an event that God gave me a long time ago, and then he woke me up a couple of weeks after my mother passed away last year and told me to execute it. It was just him and I saw me on stage. I saw me speaking in front of thousands of people, and I told them, you know, I was getting ready to get on stage and present my business, my networking business that I just released. Yep. And guys, God stopped that thing. It was up on the screen. It was on I had the clicker and everything. And God said, no, don't present a business to them. Tell them your story, because there's somebody in the audience that don't know your story, that may be walking in your story, or their child may be walking in your story, or their brother or their sister, and they don't know what way to go. They feel like they, you know, because a lot of people counted me out. And I guess that's why the mummer didn't bother me, because when Sheila Jackson Lee said, for every one negative, there's 20 positive. Nobody in Houston had ever did that. And I'm not even from Houston. God told my husband and I to come here 5 years ago on an assignment. People not going to understand your assignment, because that's not the assignment that the Lord gave them. Do you know I didn't do that for an applause? I could have got free claps and kept my 6 figures in my bank account. I could have got free claps. My kids already got the game. They didn't have the game since 2009 when I became a business owner. I didn't have to put up my money for other people's kids. I didn't have to put up my money for other people's success. I didn't have to put up the money that we work hard for day and night. I wound up in the hospital for 4 times, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different times, wound up in a hospital to go be able to help other people. You know, I ain't doing it for the applause. I'm doing it for the cause. I'm not doing it for the flyer or the celebrity guest. I'm doing it to break generational curses. You saw me and my husband walking around in our shirts, because we have a Christian clothing line. We got a shirt that says generational curse breaker. And our kids have a shirt that says they broke the curse for me. Somebody had to be the Moses of the city. Somebody had to be and it ain't easy, because guess what? The person that's the leader of anything gonna be the one to take the most blows, that's gonna take the most criticism. I tell people, if you're not ready to be talked about, criticized, lied on, and anything else, you're not ready for leadership, because that's what people do. People usually are intimidated by a person that knows their purpose, but they're still going through their life trying to figure out what their purpose is. One thing about me, when it wasn't my turn, I never hated. I waited, because I waited for God's timing. I waited for him to tell me what to do, to give me the direction, the next thing to do, you know. And so even when I was in prison, I was free. You know, I tell people, when I was in prison, I was the freest that I've ever been in my entire life. Why? Because nobody couldn't ask me for nothing. You know, and that sounds crazy, but no, nobody couldn't ask me for nothing. Nobody couldn't put their hand out. Nobody couldn't, you know, whatever. And I didn't care about people that talked about me, because they didn't know the story. You know, I'm one of the most solid people you'll probably ever meet, the least judgmental person you'll ever meet, because it's a reason, it's a root to the reason why a person is the way that they are. You know, it's a reason why people, and so I'm probably the least judgmental person that you'll ever meet, the most supportive person you'll ever meet, and the most, you know, I'm going to root you on from the stand. I'm going to root you on in person. I'm going to tell you you can do it. I'm a purpose pusher. I got a shirt that say purpose pusher, because I understand the assignment that God gave me, and that's to pull and push purpose out of people. That's why they say that the graveyard is the most wealthiest place in the world, because those people got buried with their books. They got buried with their ideas. They got buried with their dreams. And guess what I do? I say, look, I don't care what your current situation is, not your final destination. So even though somebody might have told them they dumb, they ugly, they stupid, they can't do this, I'm going to be the person that's going to be on the back end and say, tell them to go look in the mirror. You're not dumb. Your mama didn't birth no dummy. You know, you may not know something at the moment, but that don't make you less than. So I'm going to be the person that's going to push them to their destiny, the person that's going to push them to their purpose. And all I do is win. All I do is breed entrepreneurs. Some of y'all got an opportunity to see my daughter, who just turned 14 last month. And guess what? She got her own cosmetic line. So it's I had to do it for other people's children. My other daughter, 23 years old, she don't have 1, she don't have 2, 3, she got 4 different businesses. Why? Because all she's seen me do since 2009 is be in business for myself. She's seen the nights where I had to sacrifice me not eating so they can eat, me that it ain't pretty in business all the time when your people, your vendors may not pay, but your people still got to be paid. You know what, your bills still got to be paid, your lights still got to come on. And people that ain't never did nothing are usually the people are the first, the most judgmental. They got the most to say, they done the least, and they got the least in their bank account. So therefore I have to
pay nothing.
Yeah, they ain't paid nothing, so they don't understand value. They don't understand honor. They ain't never did nothing. They ain't never put on a conference with 10 people. So therefore, they definitely wouldn't understand something where you got a production team and you're dealing with celebrities. I know people was upset, like they was mad at Master P because his flight was delayed. I want safety over anything. And if they had to delay your flight because the plane wasn't safe for you to get on, I don't care if you got there 10 hours late. You still showed up. He was an hour and a half late. Shoot, that's Houston traffic, an hour and a half, but his flight was delayed.
Right?
I mean, who can control that? And actually, the event was supposed to be for 4 till 4 o'clock. So 4:30. So if you had to leave early, that's not our issue. You know, he still showed up. He even had some stuff that he wanted to do, but because the people left early, they didn't get it. And I told them from the beginning, if you here just to see Vivica Fox, if you here just to see Romeo, Master P, and E.T., you here for all of the wrong reasons. Yep. Because they already got their bag. It's time for you to get the knowledge you need to get whatever God has for you and your family so that you can break the generational curses of your own family. So why would you be care? I don't care and I'm the one that paid for them. I wouldn't have cared if I took a picture. I wouldn't have cared if we ate lunch or dinner. I didn't care about any of that. What I cared about is that the people got the connections that they needed to change their bloodline, to break that curse off of their bloodline, to make sure that those kids got an experience that ain't nobody ever gave them. And I know they ain't never gave it to them because the councilwoman told me that. You know, I know they ain't never got it because the people that brought them told me that.
So let's back up a little, Tiff, and if you can, I want you to drop that link in the chat. So you talked about the goal of this conference, and you did some incredible things. We had a room full of kids, and people were sponsoring kids. So help me understand, like, people don't understand assignment, and they don't understand when you say, it almost sounds to people that don't understand, it sounds crazy. It sounds ludicrous. Oh, this person has lost it. You got a purpose? Really? You were spoke to and you supposed to do this? There's no other reason. Tell us about that, because to put up 6 figures, I mean, you told the story. You were about to sell your house, right? Like, this is not, why do people take those kind of blows? What is it? There must be something rad. Let's talk about it.
So if you read your word, the word will tell you. You know that one, God says, touch not my anointed and cause my prophet no harm. So one, I want the people that know that do put their mouth on me, they got to know what they're doing. Let's start there. Let me start there first. So God will give you, you know, everybody, if they keep living, they got to pass. And my grandma always tell me that if you keep on living, baby, you got to pass. But every person, God gave a purpose. He gave them an assignment. Some people don't know their purpose yet. Some people ain't tapped into their purpose yet. Guess what? I tapped into my purpose in my lowest point, and that was prison. God showed it to me in dreams. He gave it to me in words. I wrote a letter to him while I was there. And every single thing, this was the last thing that had to be done. Everything that I wrote to him in the letter had been executed except for what just happened this weekend, all the way down to he gave me the husband that I needed. You know, he gave me He gave me the businesses that I needed. He gave me the business partners that I needed. Was it easy? No. Did we have to kiss a couple frogs before we got our prince? Absolutely. Did we have to go through a couple of business, fraud business partners to get the right ones that didn't come with an ulterior motive? Yes, because guess what? Anything worth having, you're going to have to go through some things. You're going to have to jump some hurdles. I tell people, quit asking God to order your steps if you ain't going to move your feet. He's not going to give you an assignment that's going to be easy. Guess what? But it's going to be worth it. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I'm sure a lot of people going to try to do it now because now it's already been done. So when God woke me, that's why I had to tell him, like, Lord, you sure? Like, I want to go invest this in some property.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Six
so
figures goes far with a lot of investment. Yeah.
Yeah, and one $385,000 investment. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
So when I sat there and I asked God, I said, wait a minute. First of all, I got too much money invested in the streets and other things right now. And people that are in business that understand investments, they understand you can't go out here splurging, because if you investing in something, it's not like the money comes. You don't plant the seed and it grow the same day. You got to wait for harvest season, right? Yep. So we had already invested in a couple of other things. And I'm like, wait, I want to use this to invest in some real estate. I want to save this and invest it in some real estate. Look how ironic this was, that my prime real estate, which is the home that my husband and I worked very hard for, that we just built 2 years ago, we thought we was going to have to sell it because we put up our savings. And then I'm this person. I am my sister's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. If God give me something, a lot of times that I know and I see things in people, I'm like, look, we all can win together. That's the problem with our culture. We in competition instead of collaboration. One thing about me, I'm the collaboration queen, with the exception of the celebrity guest and one speech. Everybody up there, I'm in some kind of collaboration with. That was very strategic. So the thing about it was, I said, look, I brought some people to the table and said, look, God gave me this vision. I did the numbers. This is a ballpark because we didn't know exactly what it was going to cost. I didn't know what the production team was going to cost. You don't know what it's going to cost to run ads. You don't know what it's going to cost for this because I hadn't reached out to the people yet. I hadn't reached out to the production team to see how much it was going to cost to pipe and drape and cameraman and all of that kind of stuff. I knew what it would cost for the speakers, and I knew what it would cost for the venue. Everything else was going to be extra. It was a roundabout figure. So I brought them to the table and said, look, God gave me this vision. I don't mind sharing it with y'all. Let's do this. Let's win big. Let's bless families. Let's change lives. Let's help our culture. Let's help these kids, because they know I'm very big on kids, because I feel like if you can save a child before they become a troubled teen, so that they don't become a troubled adult, let's do it. So I went to the table with 2 other people and said, look, let's do this together. And if whatever's made, we'll split it 3 ways, even though I even offered to put up the most money. I signed the contract with E.T. I signed the contract with Vivica Fox. I hadn't signed the contract with Master P and Romeo yet, because initially we were supposed to have Rick Ross. They told me the dates was approved. They thought this was a great thing to do, all of this stuff. And guys, they ran me around for 90 days, made me miss out on every single sponsorship that I was trying to do, because I couldn't even though we had the money to give him, we could not put him on a flyer and distribute the flyer until he actually put his John Hancock on the actual agreement, or that would have been fraud. So I couldn't even send the sponsorship deck to people, asking them for sponsorship and saying Rick Ross was going to be there, because they kept telling me, oh, he had a seizure. Oh, this happened. Oh, and I'm trying to be compassionate. But at the same time, I knew that every dollar that had been spent was our money. Every day that we couldn't promote the event and sell tickets, that was costing us money every single day for 90 days. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't even promote this. So finally, they told us after 90 days of waiting, oh, he changed his mind. So when I finally did secure Master P and Romeo, who was the best fit in the first place, because it was conducive to what we were doing. We were talking about generational wealth. That's a father and a son. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and start sending out the sponsorship deck. People like, Tiff, I wish you would have hit us up 60 days ago. We love this stuff that you're doing with kids. Tiff, I wish you would have hit us up about 50 days ago. We definitely would have gave to the cause. I mean, I can show you all of these emails, but they had already paid out their money to the people they had selected for the year. So I looked at my husband like, okay, let me go to the business partners and see if they got their money now, because we already put our money up.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Hey, it's time to put.
Yeah, you know, like how like when you start off and you tell your cousins we going on a trip and everybody going to, it's time to pay the money. Yep. So it was kind of like that. You know, you start off the trip, it's 60 of y'all. By the time the trip happened, it's 8 of y'all. So I go to them, oh, you know, we gotta wait, we gotta do this. I'm like, okay, but this is my vision, this is my baby. And I'm like, okay, Lord, what do I do? How do I come up with this kind of money in this amount of time? Because it's gonna happen regardless. I told my husband, I said, it's gonna happen regardless. I said, and I'm not moved by stuff. A house is just stuff. I'm like, I said, we just said we want to build us a new home anyway, where everything is on one floor instead of have everything we got on 2 floors on 1 floor. I said, if we got to sell our house, we just got to sell our house. I'm not even tripping. Right. You know, people would look at that as, you know, you fell off, whatever. That's the thing. I don't give a darn what people think. If I could live in a prison cell with 3 strangers and everything I own fit in the lockbox, I can care less.
Come on.
As long as I got everything that I need. So that's what I was trying to tell them. It's not about stuff. I blew through millions of dollars in my 20s and didn't know what to do with it. And then I turned around and lived in a jail cell with 3 strangers that I didn't know, and everything I owned was in the lockbox. So I'm not moved by stuff or money. So when people pull up in their cars, in their ranges, I'm not impressed. Why? Because I know your credit score is 450 and you got $200 in your bank account. So if that is it, then I'm not impressed by what you're doing, because that's what we call hustling backwards. You trying to prove to broke people you ain't broke. Yep. You know, and that's not my thing. That's not where I'm from. That's not a thing to me. I give away more than I keep. That's why I told God, give me so much money that everything is cheap. Let me tithe the 90 and be comfortable on the 10, because I've had everything. I'm not moved by material things. I don't care about how much money people make if they're not helping nobody. I know multi-millionaire. You see at the event, I had a whole billionaire there. So I'm not moved by money. I'm moved by what you're doing in the community. Are you going back and helping your people for real? Or are you just on a flyer so you can be seen? Which one is it? Like, is we really doing this? Is we doing it, or are we just talking about it? So that's where I'm different. That's where God made me different. My heart is set up different. Like, my heart is for people for real. I'm not looking for something that I can get from somebody, because I know where my source is. God is my source. So I told my husband, I said, you know what? We might have to sell our house. And I set we only still got 2 at home. All the rest of them grown and gone. So I'm like, we might have to, you know, get us a condo for a minute and rebuild another house. I said, but one thing for certain and 2 for sure. My daddy always told me, Lord, rest his soul. And then in the midst of this, I lost my parents. So this is another thing where people it's like they don't have any kind of compassion. Like, I lost both of my parents, so people thought I was going to shut it down for that. No, when I say the enemy came at me with everything he had, he came at me with everything he had. And so I told my kids, I said, we might have to just get a condo. We'll be cool. We got everything we need. If I got to use the equity out of the house and go make this happen for these kids, it's going to happen. I don't even know these kids. I never met not one of them before the event, not one. So I said, you know, if we need to, whatever we need to do, I called my realtor and said, you know what? I need to, and I called her crying. I said, I need to list my house. She said, huh? Because she the person that had the house built. So she like, wait a minute, wait. What did I miss? So I told her, I said, sometimes God gives you an assignment that nobody understands but you. I said, he told me the people that were supposed to give me the money, he didn't even want their money attached to me. He said, because where he's getting ready to take me, he didn't want nobody to take the credit. Oh, I did that. Because some people will do stuff just to say they did it.
Yep.
Now, he said, no, I don't want them to get no credit. If you notice, every single time I went on stage, before I said one word, I gave God the glory, because I know that he the one that came through in the clutch. So I put my house up for sale. This is so weird, Alan. My house, the biggest house on the street. The one with the most add-ons. We done added an outdoor kitchen, everything. When I say that my property value was so, and I'm like, wait a minute. My neighbor sold their house in 4 days. Everybody's house around me was selling.
Yeah. It's the time.
And I'm like, I need this money. Why this house won't sell? What's the real deal? I ain't know my husband.
Oh, so everybody, yeah, because it's a seller's market, right? Like everybody.
Yeah, it was a seller's market. And I told my husband, I said, look, if we sell the house, get an extra 300 for it, we can go put 150 down on another house. I take the other 150 and put it in the conference. Because we ain't asking nobody for nothing.
Wow.
We ain't asking nobody else for nothing. We don't even know these people.
So
we here on assignment. I'm like, we here on assignment, remember?
Yeah.
I had to keep, because he like, no, I mean, this my home. Like, we giving up our home. And I said, we not gonna do our best. We gonna do what's necessary. It's a difference. So we listed our house, and every time they said they were showing the house, I was crying. Every time my realtor, all day. And this was the thing. It was an inconvenience for me. So I would have to go rent hotels while they're showing our house, because we couldn't be there. We couldn't be there while they were showing it.
Why you doing a conference, right? Why everybody's calling you, hey, where's this, where's that? Yeah.
So we had to go to a hotel, stay in a hotel while they showed our home. Every time they showed it, I'm breaking down crying. My husband like, he was getting mad every single time. He was mad at the people that are supposed to get on board. He was mad at the people that claimed they was going to sponsor. He was just mad. And then I told him, I said, remember what my mama told me before she passed away? She told my husband to make sure he watched my front, back, and side to side, because the way my heart is, and don't let nobody else get over on me. She said, and another thing I want to tell y'all, stop getting mad at people for who they are. She said, never be mad at a person for being who they are. That is who they is. So you just know how to deal with them. Don't be mad at them for being them. And I said, okay. She said, stop expecting you from other people. So I said, okay, mama. And so one morning, my spiritual parents have a 3 a.m. prayer call 7 days a week, even on Sunday when they preach. Wow. They have a 3 a.m. call. And that night I was so heavy. I was so stressed. My head felt like it was about to pop off my shoulders. So I'm like, let me get on the 3 a.m. prayer call and get me some prayers. So I texted them and said, I'm getting on the 3 a.m. Make sure y'all send up some prayers for me. I don't feel well. My blood pressure was through the roof. 190 something over 110. So I was praying. I'm like, man, I can't stroke out. I can't wind up in the hospital. I can't do none of this stuff. I got on the prayer call. And then after the prayer call, it gave me a sense of peace. And I wound up dozing off after the prayer call. At 4:45, God woke me up in the morning. And when we got on the prayer call at 3, we got off about 3:25, 3:30. I dozed off and I woke back up at 4:45. And God said, call your agent and tell her to take the house down. So I called her. He said, help is on the way.
The third watch, yeah, during that time.
He said, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. He said, help is on the way. Yep. So I called her when it got, a decent hour. I wasn't going to call her at 4:45. So when it got a decent hour, I called her and I said, Chantel, I'm sorry to inform you. I said, but the Lord told me to tell you to take the house down. And she said, no. She said, the crazy thing about it, I'm not even mad. I was praying your house didn't sell. Wow. She said, because I know your story. I know, and her daughter and my daughter are best friends. She said, I know, I see the sacrifice. I see the behind the scenes. I see the work you put in. I see what you pour into people. I was praying that you didn't have to give up the stuff you work for somebody else's kids. So next thing I know, I get a call through Messenger the same day from a lady named Shonda Love. And I kept saying, who is this lady keep calling me through Messenger? I don't even know her. And she said, God put you on my heart, but I need you to call me. And I said, okay. But before that happened, Amber Newman saw me at an event. And I was the keynote speaker at the event. She said, girl, you powerful. She said, I want some of my kids from the Girls and Boys Club, because she's the president of the Girls and Boys Club. She said, I want some of my kids to be able to come to this event. I just feel like it's going to be powerful. She said, I want to sponsor. I want to do a $10,000 sponsorship. They were the very first people that gave me any money outside of our own money, outside of my bestie that y'all seen me call up on the stage. That's my mentee. I'm her coach.
Wow.
She didn't give me money from an organization. She gave me money out her own bank account. She owns a couple daycare centers and a couple Medi Spas down in Tennessee. She called me and said, God told me to give you $25,000. I know it's not a lot because I still needed 200 and something $1,000.
But it was right on time, right?
But it was right on time.
Yeah.
So she said, I'm going to give you 25. I'm about to wire transfer it to your bank account. She did that. Then Amber Newman came. Then Shonda Love called me, and she is the president over the Association of the Black Tax Professionals. She said, call me. So I called her. I said, hey, Shonda, how are you? Didn't even know the lady. She said, I've been watching you for a long time. She said, and I've been admiring you from afar. She said, I see God showed me something in my sleep about you. He told me to return the favor that the young lady did for me at my conference. And I said, huh? She said, yeah, I had a tax conference and I needed to get tickets. So she said, I was getting ready to shut the whole thing down because the tickets wasn't selling like I wanted it to. She said, a young lady called me and bought about 125 tickets. She said, God told me to do the same thing for you. She said, it's called reciprocity. You do what God make happen for you, you make happen for somebody else. She said, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. She said, and I don't even know you. So God had to tell me. And I just heard this still voice say, I told you help was on the way. And so she said, how many more kids need to be sponsored? She said, I also see on your website, you got a sponsorship table for the gala. I said, yeah. She said, how about I sponsor 10 kids, that's $3,000, and sponsor a table at the gala, that's, $5,500. How about I do that? And I was kind of speechless because I'm that person all the time. And it's just nothing to me for me to do it. But to be on the receiving end was kind of weird for me because it's never me that's on the receiving end. So she said, I want to do that. She said, but not only me, I'm getting ready to call a meeting with my ambassadors of my tax group. She said, it's 4,000 of us in there. I got so many of them. I think she told me 25 ambassadors. She said, I'm about to have a meeting with my ambassadors. We got to help you. These are our children. Yeah, we may live in Dallas. We might not be from Houston, but these are little Black and brown children that need help. And if they say it take a village to raise one child, why would we leave all the responsibility on you and your husband? And see, what people fail to realize, I had to take the stress, the blunts, the blows, all of that stuff. I couldn't stress my husband out because my husband is epileptic. So stress will cause him to have grand mal seizures, which is the worst kind of seizure you can have that people die from every day. And the last time he had one, he was in the hospital unresponsive for 7 whole days.
Wow.
So therefore, I didn't want to put that burden on him where he would be stressing. And then that would be another thing that I would have to deal with on top of what I already was dealing with. Then Marcus Eggebor said, you know what? I'm supposed to be on a reality TV show. He owned all of this stuff, the insurance guru, he the tax man, all kinds of stuff. He said, guess what? I want to sponsor a table with kids too. I want to sponsor a table at the gala. So that was another 3,000 plus 5,500. Then I got a phone call from Yen. She said, I want to do the same thing. Then I got a call from Garrett Cole. He said, I want to do the same thing, sis. We riding with you. We 10 toes down with you. Then I turned around and got a call from Rosie. Rosie said the same exact thing. Then I got a call from Marquetta. Said, I want to do 3 tables.
Yep.
Then I got a call from Laquita. Then I got a call from Iceland. All of these people are part of that Black Tax Association.
Yep. So
now I'm down to, I need $100 and something thousand because they came through in the clutch with 100. It's the strangers for me.
Yeah. Right when you're about to say, hey, you know what? This burden is too big. I know this is my assignment. I don't see how I'm going to get it done. Boom.
And then people start chipping off at the balances. It was people say, look, I can't do 10, but I can do 3. Even Dr. Lotus got on here. and said, look, I'm about to call up a couple of my homies that's part of the Black Business Network and see, because it was so last minute. Yep. And then there were some people that said they would, that didn't. And that was cool too. Yep. But I was online selling stuff from my boutique. I was selling my book. I was doing my coaching, and every single dollar that I had come in, I was putting it into this event. In my coaching group, we made $50,000 for the month of August, and I put the whole 50 into the event.
That's incredible. And see, people don't. So let me recap this, because people need to hear this. You had this vision. You put on this thing that people didn't think were going to happen. I'm sure there was people calling you saying, hey, you got all these people on the flyer. We're concerned that some of these people aren't going to come, and, they're not going to come. Nobody's had this many people, and you're going to do this gala. Why don't you just do it a little smaller, Tiffany? Like, why don't you just have a couple tables and take some of that stuff out and, do. But when you have that vision, and it's the same people, some of those same people, some will support you, but other will say it's just too much. And then they'll go and start calling. Did anybody start calling people saying, hey, you shouldn't go to that? That's going to be.
Baby, that's an understatement. They made a whole group and told people don't come. What they failed to realize, that was the devil making sure that they didn't come to get their breakthrough. People were saying, oh, Master P ain't coming to that. Even a lot of people in my hometown waited to the last minute to come, because they like, well, such and such told me that Master P wasn't gonna be there. Such and such told me ET wasn't gonna be there. This is the funny thing about it. Now this is the thing. This is how your haters, they can't stop nothing. This is the funny thing about it. Yeah. Now, Alan, had I just had a flyer with people on it, I just had a flyer with the people on it, I probably could have saw people saying, oh, they not gonna be there. Now, when I did my contract with ET, part of the contract said that they had to send me a video drop telling people that they were going to be there. Yep. So Vivica sent the video. Matter of fact, Vivica didn't even send the video. She said, I don't want to do a video, sis. I want us to do an interview together, which we did on June 4th of this year at the Royal Sinesta. She said, and then we're going to make a live video while I'm here, and then your videographer can just mix it how they want to. We did a live interview on June 4th at the Royal Sinesta. It's on my Instagram page. Yep. Then she turned around while we were there and did a separate video for the videographer to make for promoting purposes. Romeo did a video. Yep. ET did a video. So what did I do? Reincarnate these people and say they're gonna be there?
I'm still not convinced. They did a video. They got extras. There was extras that did them videos, right? People, there's always people, and I'll tell you what, like, as we begin to wrap up here, the same things that you went through, and I saw it when I saw you at the event, and I saw some of the flyers, and somebody had told me, oh yeah, you don't want to be a part of that. I'm like, what? I don't want to be a part, because 7 months earlier than that, I was getting some of the same backlash when I started the 40 Acre Conference, and people were saying the same things. And I said, man, I don't know where you're at, but whatever I can do, to push things forward, whatever I can post, whatever I can tweet, whatever I can take out, because I've seen that. And it's so, if we all had the spirit and use that same energy to push each other forward, we'd be a lot further along.
And it's sad because it's our own people. I mean, when I tell you, and you did, you can't, and it's probably because you had already experienced that. The sad part about it is the people that didn't look like us was the most grateful. They were the people that came in there and spent the most money. They flew their jets out there to come to the event. They paid more money than everybody in the room. I don't know if you know how much jet fuel costs. They don't fly regular air. They billionaires. So they paid their jet fuel. They closed down their schedules. They did what they felt was necessary, not their best, because they came on at the end too. They sponsored some children for me. and was so great. Like, I hope we invited to the next one. Do you got your sponsorship deck for next year? I said, I sure do. I already got it available. They said, send it so that we can be a bigger blessing, because we couldn't bless you like we wanted to this year, because we got all these events lined up and we've given to so many people millions of dollars. But since you are a part of what we're part of and you invited us into your world, and I've never seen a single person put on an event like that. And he said, now I've seen a corporation do it.
Yeah.
He said, before
millions of dollars and be like,
woman,
yeah, we need the write-off. Not people about to sell the house.
Right. And they didn't even know that. They didn't even know the backstory. They was like, wow. So they was blown away. They were sitting in the audience. And then the CEOs of Rain came. They were supposed to be going to Bosnia. They changed their whole schedule and said, look, we are coming to support you.
Yeah.
We know that you a new, a new rep. And they said, guess what? We're going to come support you. Anything that you need. He said, if anybody hated on your event, they just a hater, and we need all of our haters. Like, he was like, the haters are necessary. People are intimidated. When people can't do what you do, they're intimidated by you. I tell people, don't hate on my glory. You don't know my story. You can't even stand up in my shoes, let alone walk in them. So and by you going through what you went through, and like I said, people at the end, some still didn't come through and left with a $25,000 balance.
Yeah.
So
before we leave here, I want you to do this, Tiffany, because there's so many, and this happens all the time. People say, oh, well, man, I wish I could have support. Well, you can. You can still support, right? If you can drop that link in the chat, you have your sponsorship deck open. People can still sponsor kids. You have your tickets up for next year, right? So we can get on that early, because this is something that needs to happen. It was an event for the ages that really helped not only this current generation, but the next generation that's coming along. And we want to definitely push her forward.
And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to you, because guess what? I always was told, if people ain't talking about you, that means you ain't doing nothing. Because I even heard, you don't want to do business with him. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And I'm thinking, like, he the most consistent. He's the person that came through. He got me on this Black Business Network. He's connected me to people I wouldn't even have connections with. He done came through with money. He done came through with everything. And I said, oh, that is the connection between us two. So that people gonna talk all the time. I always heard, if you not doing anything, if people ain't talking about you, if you ain't doing nothing, if a whole celebrity come for you 9 days before your event, you doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the biggest boss, the biggest boss conference.com is up. I'm actually doing 2 conferences next year. One is a ministry conference called We on Fire Conference. I'm bringing some of the biggest names in ministry. Y'all thought y'all was blown away at this. Just wait, because that's what I'm saying. That's how my mind is. That's why it was called the Biggest Boss Conference in the first place. My father nickname was Boss Hog. And he told me, never think small, because you only can seize what you can see. Always think big. Even if your money ain't there, God will make a way. So he always told me to think big. So that's why it's called the Biggest Boss, for Boss Hog. My dad passed away in 2020. So the Biggest Boss conference.com, you'll see both events. One for the We on Fire conference, so it's going to be a man and a woman's conference, because a lot of people said that they tired of me just doing women empowerment. They tired of me. They want a couples thing, right? They like, some of these men out of order, they need to get with pastor. So I'm like, you know what? I've always done ministry conferences, and I always included business in it. So I've never done it the opposite. So this was the first time I did it the opposite, where we talked about business first, and then on Sunday, I don't know if you was in the building, but when I say people were slain in the spirit, that's why I was being fought so hard. People was laid out in there, like they had a great experience. They got knowledge to take their money to the next level. But people like, what is the secret sauce? What is the key? Prayer. A relationship with God is the key, because he's the biggest boss of all bosses.
Absolutely.
So he the one that created the bosses. He's the one that created the idea. If he give you the idea, he'll give you the customers. So he is the one that did all this. I don't take no credit for none of it. He the one that even gave me the gift to get the money to even be able to have the money to put up in the first place. So when you go to the biggestbossconference.com, you're going to see We on Fire, Man on Fire, Woman on Fire. That's going to be the weekend before Mother's Day, May 5th through the 7th. Biggest names in ministry. But y'all know we got to bring the money too, because I'm tired of church people being broke. If God is your father and he is wealthy, why don't you know that wealth is your birthright? God's people should not lack. You should be the head and not the tail, the lender, not the borrower. So therefore, not only am I going to bring the biggest names in ministry, I'm going to bring some of the bigger names in business to go ahead and catapult us into the Biggest Boss Conference 2023. That's Biggest Boss Conference 2023. We will not be at a hotel, because who we're bringing, we're not going to be able to be in a hotel. We would have broke the walls down at a hotel. So therefore, we're going to be in a convention center. So if they was mad about the Biggest Boss Conference 2022, get madder. And it's crazy to me, because why are you mad that people?
Why are you mad?
Mad for what? So if you thought, and this time, I'm not just bringing a band. I'm not just bringing a dance team. I'm going to bring whole schools, because guess what? I want, when I tell you the vision that he gave me while I was there being persecuted and being stabbed in the back and being talked about and being, dealing with crazy attitudes. And one thing I know, the battle is not mine, it's the Lord's. I knew it wasn't the person, it was the spirit in the person. That my spirit, my light was irritating their demons. So I understood that, because I've dealt with it before. So when I was back there and I was crying those tears was watering my prayers. And what they were doing was telling me, get ready for your next, because you're going to have even more haters. But guess what? We're going to have a bigger team surrounding you. We're going to have more people praying for you. We're going to have more people supporting you. And then this time, where I couldn't get the sponsorship because they made me miss out on the sponsorship, he said, God told me there's going to be people calling you, begging to be a sponsor of your event, saying, good, look, we saw the fruits of your labor. We saw you put in the work. We know that you're not doing this for no clout. Who would give up multiple six figures of their own money for some clout? That's crazy. I already had clout. I'm just humble with it. People already knew my name. I speak on stages globally, but I'm humble. I ask God to always keep me humble, because I don't ever want him to have to humble me. Biggest Boss Conference is on sale right now. It'll be 50% off till Monday. You can use the discount code BOSS2023. Go to thebiggestbossconference.com, put in BOSS 2023. You'll get your tickets 50% off. And not only that, you can get a payment plan through Klarna, through Sezzle, through Afterpay, and pay on that. You got a whole year. There is no reason why you can't be in the room unless you just don't want to be. You don't want the breakthrough. Some people miss the breakthrough, not only for them because they was listening to somebody else, they missed it for their children, because I'm rolling out my TV show on my own network, the same network that Les Brown is on. Guess what? We giving away 8 free TV shows to people's kids that was in the building. Your kid could have got one, but you missed it.
Yeah.
Because somebody told you Master P wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
Somebody told you E.T. wasn't going to be there. Not only was he there, he affirmed why he was there.
Yeah. The validation.
And not only that, guess what? If you missed it because a hater made you miss it, or you just missed it because you know what? You missed out. You had things going on. We will have this on demand this coming week for $47. You're going to get all those days for $47. That way you can have all the days on demand. You can go back and get the knowledge that you missed. And some people like, I was there, but I still want it on demand. Exactly. I want it on demand because we're going to have a whole Biggest Boss watch party.
Yeah.
I want it, you know what I'm saying? Because and people,
no, was that good?
God convicted some people. They had to inbox me and apologize to me. And like I told them, that wasn't even you. That was a spirit in you. Yeah. That's how grown I am. It's okay.
You realize it. Yeah, you realize
it's all right. Guess what? Because, and then on top of that, broke mentality. They got to change their mind to change their money. You can't get the money if you hanging around Ray and Pookie.
Mm-hmm.
Because the moment I give you the game, you gonna tell somebody $1 million idea that got a $17 an hour mentality.
And the right people were in the room too. So, and I know we're going a little over, but I mean, this is so good. One of the things that you said, people coming back, especially the people that are going to support you, are going to support you. The
Absolutely.
People that give you the excuse, because I've heard this from corporations. I heard it from like, oh yeah, well, we don't have enough information, or there's not enough time to support, or everything. They're not going to support anyway. So if you want to support, you can do it right now, right? Oh, well, next year's budget, the way that, no, come on. Like all that stuff, even people say, oh, well, I didn't know. You didn't know what? I told you it was going to be this, this, and this. Well, so-and-so, just like you said, so-and-so said, why are we worried about so-and-so said? Why don't we volunteer? I'm a give, and I appreciate this so much. You gave me an opportunity. I got, just because, and so many, I'll tell people this, not to, just so they understand, if you're in the room sometimes, you'll get an opportunity. I was volunteering for Tiffany, right? I was volunteering, and I said, hey, I'm here. What I tell you in the beginning, I'm here for everything or nothing, whatever y'all need.
I'm here to serve. What you did. You told me that night when I came to that networking event, whatever you need, I'm here. I don't care if you need me to pick up trash. That's a humble servant.
So in picking up trash, we got a notification that was pushed back because this was scheduled, that one of the speakers wasn't going to be there. And
they had COVID. They had COVID. They wound up catching COVID and was sick and couldn't come. I said, oh no, they can't come up in here.
Yeah. So the volunteer that was taking out trash got an opportunity to open up for Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker in the world. And I want to say thank you for that. And for those of you that just want to be around people like Tiffany, it'll elevate your game. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when, but just be around, because good things will happen. And even before the gala, right? People like, hey, why don't you do this? Hey, can you take this? I looked around, and we were putting chairs on, and people, where's the staff? Where's the hotel? Well, you guys didn't pay for this. Well, this still has to be done. So many people don't understand, stuff still has to be done. Well, Absolutely. I'll see you there. Well, if you don't help us either put on the event or volunteer or do this, there is no event.
Absolutely.
So there's support that has to happen, right? So shout out to you. Had an incredible team of volunteers and staff, and thank you for sewing into all of them. And I'm eternally grateful. Here, let me show even the
next year. You might have to be in that fashion show, though, Alan. Yes, he got his award, baby. The Global Humanitarian Award. Because one thing I know, I am so thankful and grateful for people that invested. Some people didn't have money to invest, and it ain't always about money. They invested their time. Like my sis Niecy Hamilton, she said, baby, I can give you my time. I ain't got a lot of money right now, and I get that. Trust me, I know how it is. Sometimes we got a lot. When you got a lot of money invested and you waiting for the breakthrough to come, sometimes you gotta not go out to eat. And sometimes I don't make it seem like we billionaires or millionaires yet. We're on our way. That's why it's called 6-figure chicks. We're on our way. And then sometimes we got so many responsibilities, so many people that we're helping, and it's like, if you doing all the help, then sometimes you can't help other people when you got a lot. I got 5 kids, 4 grandbabies, all kinds of stuff. We got investments on different things and all of that kind of stuff. So some people got experiences that they missed out on. Like somebody just put in the chat, the private dinner with Romeo was priceless. Yeah, that was something we had to wing, because he had some personal things going on. These people may be celebrities, but guess what? They are still people. Show them some grace. Our people is the very first people that will try to crucify somebody and they ain't did nothing, ain't put in $10, ain't thank nobody for even thinking of them. I tried to share my platform with people that they would have never known people had it not been for me to invite them to the platform. I know a lot of
put up your resources.
I'm connected to a lot of celebrities. We got an entertainment business, but I'm very humble with what I do. I don't name drop. I don't do none of that. That's stupid to me. But with people, you will miss out on a blessing because their hearts ain't right, their intentions is wrong. And that's what I asked God to show me. And when I tell you, he was showing it to me, not only throughout the event, the next day I couldn't, every time I have an event like this. So this is what people don't fail to realize when you're spiritually inclined. Every single time I have an event and deliverance happens, backlash also happens. So I am always affected in my body. Let me tell you, the women's conference I had 2 years ago in the middle of COVID, when people were scared to come outside, they didn't even want to touch each other. Guess what? God sent 290 women out, and then we had about 50 men in the room because the men was allowed to the gala. They just wasn't allowed to the women's conference. So we had almost 300 women in a room getting delivered from stuff that some of them is older than me, 50 years, 50, 60 years old. They've been holding on to this stuff for 30 years. But since I'm the pioneer of it, after the gala was over, we 300 plus deep. After the gala was over, the moment I got to my room, I was attacked in my body. Charlie horses was sitting up out my neck, out my arm, out my whole body. My husband thought he was going to have to take me to the emergency room. Yep. So this time, I woke up the next day and could not even move. I could barely move my neck. He had to take me today to get a massage. My whole body is in pain. So not only do I take the physical and the mental blow, not only do I take the spiritual and the mental blows, I also have to take the physical blows. Yep. This is why I ran from this calling for a decade, because I knew what came along with it. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what? Sometimes I'm between praise is what I do and nuck if you buck. But he like, you know what? Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Where I'm taking you, you getting ready to go. Like my husband posted earlier, she getting ready to get on the elevator and go to the penthouse. You know, and it not only that, I know so many celebrities. Some of them are like my sisters and brothers. Yep. But I would never disclose that to people because it ain't none of their business. Yep. Because you want people to come around you and hang with you and do things because it's genuine, not because they clout chasing or want to be on a platform. I don't care nothing about no platform. See, people getting money to be seen. I'm trying to get money to disappear. I want to be in the background so that my students can be in the forefront. See, at first I started off as a student, to only wind up as a teacher, to only want to go back to the back of the room and watch my students shine. So this ain't the Tiffany McIntosh show. All of the stuff that come along with it, a lot of people couldn't handle. So now, like I said, we got the sponsorship decks up. We got the ticket sales up. And I put up the Cash App. Because guess what? We still paying balances that people didn't come through and pay. And that's what people fail to realize. When you're the leader of this thing and your name on your John Hancock is on there, guess who got to still foot the bill?
Yeah. Hey, I don't care that. Yeah, the hotel don't care if some people don't show up. They're like, hey, we're what? Yeah, you got to balance. Yeah.
So and when you're dealing with those kind of people, when you're dealing with celebrities, guess what? They got regular lives just like you and me. And every time I deal with them, something happened. I'm just be real. That's why a lot of times I be wanting them to come in the day before. Yep. But if they're already booked, Master P, people can't even give this man a pass. He stopped his whole filming thing. He didn't know they was going to be filming right now. They pushed up filming. Sometimes filming is pushed back. Sometimes filming is pushed up. When he booked with me, filming was not on the schedule. He getting ready to drop a whole No Limit documentary show. It's going to be a whole show, not a documentary, but it's going to be a whole series. So they pushed up. He stopped filming and still had to pay people.
And honored his commitment. Yeah.
And still honor his commitment to the people, because he could have said, Tiff, I'll give your money back. Yeah. I ain't coming.
Yeah.
But one thing for certain and two for sure. One thing I know is that people gonna always talk. And guess what? They give you free press. Let them talk because that's all they doing. The people that talk the most do the least. So I ain't moved by that kind of stuff. I've been always remember one day the black sheep becomes the goat. So I'm used to that kind of stuff. I take it with a grain of salt. I keep it moving. And when I see them, I'm still not above speaking because I'm grown and I'm an adult. And I'll say, hey, how you doing? And keep it pushing. So at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about them. It's not about what they think. I don't care about none of that kind of stuff. It's bigger and better. All year I'm gonna be going to different schools to work with their children, to show them, give them the blueprint that I gave my kids, to make sure that they are the biggest boss, to make sure that those generational curses is broke off of their life, to make sure that they get what they need, to make sure even if their parents don't know no better, auntie got you, and then I'm gonna teach your mama while I'm teaching you.
Man, this has been incredible, and you've taught so many people, because a lot of people, with all the obstacles you dealt with, and I've seen it, I've lived it, I know how that is. They would have said, "Oh, you getting sued by another? Hey, let's shut this down and let's turn the lights off, right? Let's go."
And nobody was getting sued. That's the funny part. A letter does not. That lets you know people need something else better to do. I've seen people get cease and desist letters, all kinds of stuff. Just because somebody say, I sent you a letter and I want you to take boss out your conference, that does not equal a lawsuit. And y'all got to know, that's what TMZ them supposed to do. That's how they get their views. That's how they get their people up. They like juice. They like mess. They like drama. The total opposite of me. Because if I wanted the juice and the drama, I could have drugged them when they didn't honor what they said that they were going to do. And they made me miss out on my sponsorship money. But I was just like, I took it on the chin like a G.
Yeah, you turned that into opportunity, and you still have a ton of respect for, their team, but still, right? You put on the biggest boss conference, and right, you the biggest boss. You got it right now. As Tupac, you got the juice right now. This has been an honor. What's next, and give us one thing you want to leave one of those kids with, because a couple of those kids were looking around and saying, man, I could do this. And then another one of the kids are looking at it and saying, man, there's no way that we could do something like this.
And they can, because when I tell you next year, it's going to be a whole different, when I say it's going to be a whole movement, this is why I'm looking at the Toyota Center. This is why I'm looking at the NRG Center, because it's going to be totally different. The very first day is going to be for VIP people only. Yep. You ain't going to even be able to get in if you're not VIP, because what we're doing, the caliber of people that we're pulling in, and the people that I want to be partnered up with me for the future of Biggest Boss conferences, we only can roll with VIP people on the very first day. So the first day is going to be dedicated to VIP people only. If you put your mind to it, I don't care if you in a prison cell. I don't care if you live in the worst projects. I don't care if right now y'all eating soup sandwiches, because I remember when we used to eat sugar sandwiches. Yep. So I don't care what your current situation is not your final destination. And in 2 weeks, y'all, they can meet me over at Pleasant Hill in LaPorte, Texas, if they want to, because I'm going to be dropping some more knowledge over there. I know G Unity bringing some of their kids. My spiritual mom holds an event every year called Fight Like a Girl. And I called my girl Lelia. Y'all know her as gospel recording artist, Leandra Johnson. We bringing her to the city.
Oh, come on.
On October the 29th. So her event is October 28th through the 30th. October 29th, the Lord Deliver Me Queen herself will be here. That's what I'm saying. That people don't even know what they're doing. They better stop. They better get on. But one thing about the train keep moving whether you own it or not.
Without you. Yeah.
I would rather for them to be on the train so they can get free. But if they ain't on the train, they can stand on the side of the tracks and watch us keep rolling. So on October the 28th, she's hosting the event. I'll be there. I'm going to be giving away the game for free. The conference is $70, y'all, to get all of what you're gonna get, and you're gonna get some deliverance on top of that. It's October the 28th through the 30th. They can go to, I'm gonna put it right here, kingdom minded people.com, and go get their ticket. It's $70. They can go there and get their ticket. It's $70. That's gonna be food. It's gonna be swag bags. It's gonna be off the chain. She has it every year. In October, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it's Fight Like a Girl. And when I tell you that I'm booked and busy, Alan, and now people, I can't even tell y'all because I want to come out with a boom bang. Just know that one of our celebrity guests asked me to partner with them. So when people talking, let them talk. When people trying to criticize, let them do whatever they want to do. Because guess what? No devil in hell and no hater on earth can stop what God got for you. So I want the kids to know, keep going. Keep dreaming. Keep going after that dream. I don't care what people tell you. If they tell you can't do it. You heard Master P up there say, they told me I was going to be a product of my environment. I was never going to do anything. And he one of the most powerful men in business on the planet right now. So don't let nobody stop you and tell you what you can't do. Anything you put your mind to, and what God, you can do anything. So I'm excited for what's to come. In 2 weeks, I'll see y'all at the Leandra Johnson. I'm also bringing her to Dallas December the 10th. I'm doing a show with Mr. Isaac Moore, his launch for his new brand.
December the gifts. I can't even talk about the gifts. I've never seen that in a room, right? Nobody gave. So for those of you, I mean,
let them see it on demand. Don't tell them, Alan. Let them see it on demand.
Y'all gotta.
Don't give them all the tea.
Just for that, you got to see these gifts. And one of the things I want to leave people with. So at the beginning of the podcast, people thought at the beginning of this broadcast, okay, Tiffany can put up all this money. She came from a home and dealt with a lot of trauma as a kid. She was formerly incarcerated. And by the way, before you get too booked, we want you to lead our formerly incarcerated panel for MLK weekend for the 40 Acre Conference.
I got you. I
mean, she has been able to help people all over the world where this was broadcast. And you can see the recap. You can still sponsor kids. You can still be a part of this event, even though it's on demand, because it's going to continue to go through all of the obstacles. She was able to put on, I would say, the most successful weekend that this city has ever seen for a single conference. No other showcases, vendor had everything, had a fashion show. It was absolutely incredible. And I was glad to at least be a fly on the wall. So Miss Tiffany McIntosh, and I had to do this before she gave all these gifts to people. I ran to get some flowers. I'm like, man, we got to give Tiffany her flowers while she's here, because this was incredible.
I appreciate that. And guys, if anybody wants to give, they can still go to the Biggest Boss Conference website. You can also do Cash App at I Am a Six Figure Chick. You can give all different kinds of ways. We got a Stripe link that you guys can sponsor on. And I appreciate those that did. I don't care if you did one child. Guess what? You gave up your personal money. And that's not an easy thing. So I salute y'all. I thank y'all. Thank you, Alan, for having me. Thank you for being a servant leader my entire conference. Thank you just for being there, giving words of encouragement, just telling me that you were going to come through, and you really came through, because one thing my father told me when he was alive, a man's word is his bond. So thank you for keeping your word. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for all of my Black Business Network family. Thank you, Dr. Lotus, for coming, baby. She was off the chain. Absolutely. Before, during, and after. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just asking God to send, the right people for these upcoming conferences, for the people to keep their words, for the right people that's coming for the right reason, not for the clout, not for the celebrities, but really for these kids and really to change our community. Because when I tell you next year we having whole schools, I'm talking about whole schools. Y'all gonna see lines and lines and lines and lines of buses, because that is the way that you break through. Because if we as adults can't even work together, how are we gonna tell the kids that they need to work together? How are we gonna tell the children that they need to be unified when the adults acting like they the Crips and Bloods? So I'm telling you, we got to do better as a people. We got to do better in supporting one another. We got to do better without slandering each other's names. We got to do better without trying to drag each other through the mud or be the crab in the bucket. Be the uplifting person. You don't never know what it took for a person to get up that morning. You don't know what it takes to be them. You don't know what obstacles they overcome daily. You don't know. So stop trying to judge people, because the Bible says, let the first man without sin cast a stone. And baby, that was thousands and thousands of years ago. And I don't know a man to this day that has never had a sin. So therefore, show people grace, show them love, show them gratitude. And once again, like he said, give them their flowers while they're here. But I'm getting ready to go live on my Facebook page with my business partner, because we're getting ready to drop something to help people make money from now till Christmas. Through the new year, we setting people up. This is fourth quarter, and this is time to go in. It's game time. So thank you, Alan Thornton, for having me. Thank you, Black Business Network. Keep pouring into our people. Let's keep doing what we doing until we change one family at a time, to each one teach one and each one reach one. I'll see y'all at the beach. I'll see y'all at the bank, but I definitely won't see y'all at the bottom because it's way too crowded. I love y'all. Thanks.
Love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tiffany McIntosh, y'all give her a hand. We love y'all. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
How many times have you been asked to help someone you didn't even know, a student, a business entrepreneur? Or did you ever even ask, where did they end up? That business, that friend, that entrepreneur. Well, just maybe they ended up in a gang, bankrupt, homeless, or worse, dead. Maybe they turned to crime, drugs, and alcohol. Did you ever wonder? Did you destroy their dream, or was your life always so easy? At the Black Business Olympics, we started a movement to help students complete. Give them hope and foster success. Help them to leave their dreams of providing laptops, computers, and up to $5,000 in scholarship funds. Today, we ask you to help a student, a business owner, or an entrepreneur to realize their dreams by sponsoring them, supporting them, and buying from them. Consider this. With $1.6 trillion in our Black community, we only ask for a small donation for our can change a life today. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Sit on the sidelines and watch our students in high school be leaving, miss out on their dream from lack of resources? Or are you going to donate to the movement and change their future and yours as well? Give us a call today at 919-308-9090. Change their life by investing with action to the Black Business Olympic Fund. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases of Black business in the history of the world.